What is the most important ingredient to experience greater fulfillment and greater freedom in your life? Keep watching. This is Life Mastery Gym. I'm Damon, and I teach people just like you cutting-edge NLP processes and techniques so that you can master your life and take charge of your destiny. So if that sounds good, make sure you click that subscribe button right down here so you can get these videos on a regular basis. As you can see, I'm in a different location than I normally am. I'm actually on Catalina Island, right off the coast of Los Angeles. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how important authenticity is in your life and what it can do for you. It's actually one of the most powerful qualities you can possess. I've been coaching people for several years. I've coached hundreds of people, and of course I work on myself quite a bit, and it never ceases to amaze me how powerful this one quality is. And speaking of qualities, I have a self-concept checklist that you may want to check out. It's absolutely free. It's a free PDF. If you go to the description down below, you'll see that there's a link. Click that link and you'll get access to that. Let's first talk about what authenticity is so that we can do a deep dive into it. Let's first talk about what it's not. So authenticity does not mean that you are 100% consistent in your behavior and everything that you say, no matter what the context, no matter who you're with, and no matter what the relationship in which you're having interaction with someone in. That would be too rigid. We need to be more adaptable, more flexible as people who are very complex and have complex situations. So it doesn't mean that you're not authentic just because your behavior is not exactly the same wherever you go and that you don't say exactly the same things wherever you go. We need that flexibility, we need that adaptability. What authenticity really means is that you're true to your values. You behave in alignment with your values. If you believe yourself to be a kind person, you do kind things. If you believe yourself to be persistent, you actually are persistent. And it's also important as someone who is authentic to know when you're not being aligned with your authenticity, because a lot of people will do things, make mistakes, not realize that they're going against their values, and then only later to find out that they made a huge mistake and it blew up in their face, and then you have to go back and make apologies and try to redo everything. Really important if you can prevent those things from happening ahead of time by knowing what your values are and being very clear about it. Now here's the thing, when you're clear about what makes you authentic, not only will you experience a greater sense of freedom, it also helps you create those things in your life. It helps you create the things that you want, the things that you value, because now you're more connected to the value. You're not so overly focused on just the goal or just the outcome. And being connected to the value behind what it is that you want, you also have a lot more flexibility to make that happen. There's so many more strategies that become available to you in order to make that happen. So many more ways to fulfill your values. You're not just stuck with like, oh, this is the one way, this is the one goal, this is the one path. No, you have many, many options. So how do you do this? Well, I would start by breaking down your life into the 3 to 5 major contexts in your life. So that could be like your career, that could be parenthood, that could be your relationship, that could be your social life. So get an understanding of like, what are the major contexts in your life? And then each one of those contexts, ask yourself, what do you really want in each one of these contexts? And you can start off with, something very much on the surface, like more money or a bigger house. It doesn't matter. You can start off with something materialistic, and then you elicit the values on that. And if you're interested in learning a lot about how to elicit your values and do a good values elicitation, I'll link some videos to this one so you can be able to do that and take this even deeper. So you find out what it is you really value behind the goal, behind the object, or even behind the experiences that you're wanting to have. And this becomes super powerful, like I said, because now you become more connected with the value. It gives you much more flexibility in fulfilling that value. It also gives you more clarity about it, so it's easier to create in your life. So that clarity will naturally bring you toward what it is that you want. Also, it's great for decision making. When you're in a situation and you're worried about compromising yourself by making the wrong choice, by going against your authenticity, well, if you're consciously clear about what your values are, that's not going to happen, because you'll know, okay, well, if I do this, this would violate this particular value. If I believe in integrity, and that's one of my values, and I'm being asked to do something that doesn't align with my integrity, I'm not going to do it. It's not also about the not. It's also about, well, how can I move toward fulfilling my values? What actions, what behaviors can I do? What choices and decisions can I make so that I can move toward my values? Now, the second thing you want to do after you have those values elicited then you want to rank them. You want to compare them to each other. If you could only have one, which one would I take? And then you want to find that hierarchy, because when it comes to really tough decisions, it might feel like a lot of times you can't fulfill all of your values in this situation. So you want to go with the top 3 to 5. If you can check those boxes, if your choices and your decisions, you can check off on those top 3 to 5 values, that you're in alignment with those top 3 to 5 values, you're going to make a good choice no matter what. No matter even if the outcome doesn't come out exactly the way that you want, at least you can feel good and authentic knowing that you made a choice that was aligned with your values. Almost everyone's values who I've elicited, and myself included, freedom usually shows up as one of the highest values, if not the highest. So a lot of us want to feel free, but a lot of us don't really know how to get at that. Well, how do you become a free person? And that even sounds strange to say that. We can say, how do you become a kind person, or how do you become a person of integrity? But freedom is different. Freedom always needs to be contextualized. It's either freedom to be, freedom to have, freedom to do, or freedom from. And if you're thinking in terms of freedom from, you want to change that. If I want to be free from something, like I want to be free from my job, what do I want instead? So get that shifted to focusing on the positive. Well, what do I want instead, so I can move toward it? So you need to know what it is you want to be free to do, to be, to have. And what I've always found as well, the corresponding quality, and we focus a lot on qualities because qualities is who you need to become, which is far more powerful than what do you need to get. So if I need to be free, who do I need to become to be free? So it's really simple with, say, like a quality and a value of kindness. So I value kindness. Who do I need to become to fulfill that value of kindness? Well, I need to become a kind person. It's very simple. When it comes to freedom, it's a little more tricky though. So I value freedom. I want to be free to do what I want. I want financial freedom. I want all these freedoms. Who do I need to become in order to fulfill that value of freedom? This gets very difficult for a lot of people. So what I've always found, I'm sure there could be more, but the answer to that I found, but again, there could be more than one answer, is authenticity. So when I'm authentic, then I am free. And if you think about that, if you're free to be yourself, you're not compromising your values, you're free to do what you want, you're free to say what you're thinking, you're free to think what you want, you're free. And you can be in the most restrictive, prohibitive situation and still experience this freedom. And in that freedom is tremendous resources. That means you're extremely flexible and you're connected with yourself and you're motivated. So you can work your way out of difficult situations. You can make tough choices and tough decisions and do it in a way that's aligned with your values and feel good about that and move yourself to a better place. Now, this is why, as I mentioned, authenticity is so important. How do you get it though? How do you come to this authenticity that I keep talking about so that you can experience this freedom? When you know what those values are in these contexts, I said break down the context, elicit the values, and then do a hierarchy on these values. When you're in alignment with those values, you are being authentic. And like I said, that can be many different types of behaviors. You can act differently among different people. You can have different ways of talking amongst different people. That doesn't change your authenticity because you have that flexibility. All you need to do is act in alignment with those values. When you act in alignment with those values, you will experience authenticity. And when you experience authenticity, you will have the feeling of being free. And so you can actually try this out. Like think of a time in your life when you felt very, very free, or you felt very, very authentic, and step into that and say, okay, how is this happening? I can tell you how that was happening. You were in alignment with your highest values. And being in alignment with your highest values, feeling authentic, it also made you feel extremely free. As I mentioned earlier, if you would like to go deeper with this and you'd like to learn more about self-concept, I have a free PDF checklist right down below in the description. Click that link and you'll get a free PDF on your self-concept checklist. What makes a strong, powerful, certain, and resilient self-concept? It's in the checklist. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and the bell so you can get these videos on a regular basis. And last but not least, if you found this video helpful and you think it could be helpful to a friend or a family member, make sure you share it with them. Take care.